Now, we've been telling you this afternoon that Shaker Aamer, who is the last British detainee, is to return to the United Kingdom from Guantanamo Bay. On the line now is a former Guantanamo detainee, Moazzam Begg. Thank you very much for joining us. First of all, what do you make of this news?
Well, I've just had it confirmed from the legal people that I'm speaking to that indeed the imminent release of Shaker is correct. It will happen perhaps within days. It's something that we've been fighting for since I was released and beyond. And Shaker, of course, has been subjected to almost 14 years without charge or trial in Guantanamo, spending a huge amount of his time in solitary confinement. He's lost more than half his body weight at several junctures during that period because of the hunger strikes he had to go on. He's been force-fed with tubes forced into his nose, with being strapped down to a chair with his head and his legs also tied down. He's witnessed the deaths of 3 other prisoners, which he maintains were homicides. He's had his head smashed repeatedly against the wall in front of British intelligence agents. And he has a whole wealth of information of what's taken place there, I think. And I think that that's really essentially what's prevented his return.
Did you know him when you were there?
Yes, I knew him. Everybody knows Shaker in Guantanamo because he's one of the most well-known prisoners, probably the most well-known prisoner there. And that's because he's been fighting and advocating for the rights of the prisoners from inside the prison. So Shaker essentially now is going to return to a family who are all based in London, including his youngest son, Faris, that he's never seen. He's almost 14 years old. And the other 3 kids are so young, were so young at the time that he was taken, they barely remember him. So he's going to have a massive fight on his hands, as it were, in trying to reintegrate and trying to figure out what it is to be a father, to be a husband, to be a member of society again. And
what do you think about the timing of this? Why now?
Well, if you look at the timeline now, recently there have been several releases from Guantanamo. There's been a lot of pressure in relation to the hunger strikes, in relation to the arguments that Obama had ordered Guantanamo closed numerous times. Shaker himself has been ordered released twice by 2 U.S. administrations. Both Prime Minister Cameron and the Foreign Office have called for his release return. And it seemed embarrassing, I think, that all of this is being done. The campaign for Shaker Aamer had reached a new height, and still nothing was being done. So I think all of those things together, the fact that the elections have all taken place, or the fear of returning Shaker before that has all passed. So now I think the president of the United States should be supported in a sense, at least in being able to release a prisoner from United Kingdom. Let's remember that former Taliban ministers, Osama bin Laden's bodyguards, and many other people have all been released many, many years before Shaker was. Shaker's never even been designated for trial by military commission or charged with any crime.
You mentioned his reintegration into society. How hard did you find it?
Well, I was only there for 3 years, so it was a bit easier for me. I had family around me who they'd grown 3 years older, but nonetheless it was slightly easier to come back to that. In Shaker's case, I can't even begin to imagine. The last time he saw his daughter, for example, Johanna, she was 4 years old. She's now 17. I don't know how that's going to happen, how that process is going to happen. It's no amount of therapy and so forth will be able to replace those years. So it will take I think this will be a harder struggle for Shaker to deal with than the actual imprisonment.
Okay, Moazzam Begg, thank you very much for joining us.